it deals more with UX or UI, or it's a mix?
It's a mix. Domain-wise, I cannot, like, as a person, if I depended on somebody else to do the design of what
Hmm.
I'm visioning, which is
Hmm.
not practically correct.
Okay.
Like, it's not just the companies demanding the same person to do the research and design, which is practically correct also. If I work on a designer just to get my vision into presentation, I will have a lot of compromises coming in that way. So it's better you be a good designer and be a visionary person, and which is quite like you can achieve that. It's easy to do.
Sorry, I didn't understand like what you are trying to say.
Like the way you have to program and design, it is little
Hmm.
complex, but you have to vision and design, which is quite possible,
Okay.
which
Like
is
you
a
mean
which
like
is a skill.
a person should do both UI and UX.
Yes. You be a researcher and also you be a designer, which is quite possible. But being
Okay.
a designer and being a developer is not quite possible.
Okay. But like if you
So,
know the like Android development or like it helps out, now it's an advantage compared to others like
uh,
when we
it
when we are
helps
going
out.
to company.
See, if you think as an entrepreneur, like you
Hmm.
say you want to have you wanted to develop your own application and being visionary,
Okay.
then that is the approach, because you cannot add different people to work on different things. So
Okay.
but it's more of a personal choice, because I've seen entrepreneur working that way, but in a
Oh,
company setup it is not required. Like you don't have to know about what is that Android is doing, the challenges, technical aspects, because if you put all these things into factor, there's nothing less. You have to like your design will become very difficult.
okay.
You will have a lot of constraints to bring out the basic designs also, that which is not good for a design perspective, like in that perspective.
Okay. And like do we have like we differentiate between UI UX or like it's most of the time a one person only does this?
It's a one person, man. I don't prefer hiring two people to do the same job. It's going to be one person only.
Okay, one person only designs
Yeah.
both. UI is like
See,
it
certain
basically.
people, even from there is a IIT course there, like IIT Mumbai is having a course for HCI.
Okay,
They're
human computer
actually,
interaction.
yeah, human computer interaction. I think Guwahati also have a master's, not into engineering. See,
Okay,
they are good at what you call that user research, experience design, and all that. But they
okay,
have a challenge of getting them into action, into the design, right?
okay,
Which is actually a challenge,
okay,
because they need a designer who exactly understand what they're thinking of and bringing out. So ideally, what are they doing? They're joining a company, then they're learning the tool, they're taking practices. It is actually taking time for them to learn.
okay,
But as far as I know, it is a skill they should have, which the
okay,
colleges are not doing it, but they should have a design skills.
okay. So like I have no previous experience in graphic designing and all that. I don't think that doesn't matter much now.
Start somewhere, no? See, you are a person who's designing a game,
Hmm.
then graphic design is what? It is very basic things, like you
I
just
mean
have to
like the
know the
Photoshop
tools.
things and all that. I don't know that things. Like I haven't done also in Photoshop. I've used GIMP. That is another tool software,
So
but I
how do you
haven't
design your game characters?
game characters. Like like I told you, we haven't made that much like complex games. Like we use like we have like
Okay.
characters. We take like small some artwork only,
Okay.
some
Do you
artwork.
guys have a motion study?
No,
So what kind of games you guys develop? Strategy game, human games, or what type of games are these?
like we were not specifically taught to like we were basically taught Unity engines. Like basically we were taught like what we can do with Unity and
Which
all
is
that.
purely programming, no?
Yeah, that is more of programming part. Yeah, it was more of programming part.
So
We
even
didn't.
to be a good programmer, you should know the motion principles.
Yeah, but we weren't taught that much. So like mine is course is almost over. Like this is my last semester. My course
Hmm.
is over. Only this 3 to 4 months
So
are
how
there.
long the course is?
The course is of 3 years.
Oh man, okay.
It's a BCA degree
So
only.
all
They're
three
not.
years they're just teaching the programming, is it?
No.
Hmm.
It's like we have 2 semesters every year. In every semester we have 4 to 5 different subjects. Like once there was HCI in our first semester, I guess. Like so they taught little bit about HCI,
Hmm.
and like second semester we had Android, Java, and all that. Like
Hmm.
they have mixed everything. It's not a specific course like purely on game and app. They specialize in this, but it was not a pure what do you call it, pure course on this. So it
Hmm.
was like that. We
Okay.
learned programming also and like other stuffs also, database also, software engineering also. So it was a mix. It was not purely like we were taught either game or app or something like that. There were mixed subjects. And like designing was not even a part of that. Only
So
HCI were once taught.
okay. somewhere you have to get started. So I would
Okay.
say start with the course, the product designing course, what I just
Hmm.
given you. That is a good start. And
Oh,
start by some designs tools. If not Photoshop, start with something else like Illustrator or something. We should have
okay.
some comfortable so that you'll get your vision into presentation. That is something important.
Sorry, I didn't get. Can you come
Like
again?
whatever you are thinking in mind, you should
Hmm.
get them
Hmm.
into the computer.
Okay.
That
Visual
it is
design.
visual design. That is very
Okay.
important.
We and like the tools like this Figma, Adobe XD, and Sketch, they're used for like prototyping.
Prototyping, it's a very light version of Photoshop, you can tell.
Okay, they're light version.
Because see, when you wanted to create a website, all you need is dabbas and circles and squares. It's just
Yeah.
that, right? So for that,
Hmm.
this kind of light version is enough. You don't need a Photoshop to do that, right? So which is very, it will be helpful to you.
So like in terms of tools, like if I start with Figma,
Hmm.
is it a good tool?
So do you have MacBook with you?
Sorry?
Do you have MacBook?
No, no, I don't have MacBook. I have Windows only.
Okay, so start with Figma.
Okay. And like in comparison to XD and this Figma, which is better
Figma.
according to you?
Go with Figma.
Figma.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, with Figma. Okay, Figma is basically for this prototyping and all that. And like and is this Photoshop Illustrator, is it compulsory?
See, Figma will help you for, as you are saying, it is a prototype.
Hmm.
Like when you're done with the screen and you wanted to get it into action, which is where the prototype comes in. As a learner, don't restrict yourself. Learn
Okay.
whatever is interesting to you. Then eventually
Okay.
you pick what is interesting to you. But don't be picky in learning.
Okay.
Right? As a student, you should not be thinking too much which side. Just explore whatever is interesting to you.
Okay.
Right?
So like, and
Uh,
what is the difference between this Photoshop and Illustrator? I haven't used them. Do I know them? Like, what is the difference if you can tell
okay.
me?
So do you aware about rasters and vectors?
Sorry?
Raster file, vector file.
No, I have heard of vector files, but not of the other one which you're saying.
Man, I think you need a serious coaching. When
Hmm.
you're really looking for a job, I don't think this knowledge is enough. Being
I
a
didn't.
game developer, you
Hmm.
should have been taught through at least the file principles and motion principles. If you guys are not knowing it, I don't know where you will fit in the job.
Okay. We were not taught like this type of stuff. There.
Yeah, but start somewhere, right?
Hmm.
So learn about the fundamentals. Stick to
Hmm.
the fundamentals. Even if you are catching a design, also go with design fundamentals. Don't go
Oh,
behind a tool because once upon a
okay.
time I was learning Flash, Adobe Flash, and all that. Now the Flash is no more,
Okay.
which will happen to the Android also, which will happen to the Unity also. If you say you are a Unity expert, another 3 years Unity will not be there in the market.
Okay.
Right?
So you're saying like
So
you should be more concerned with the rules and like
rules,
framework.
principles,
Yeah, rules and
fundamentals, right?
yeah,
If you're
fundamentals.
saying or you're a game developer, there are a lot of fundamentals which goes to the game. Motion design and path design, character design. These are fundamentals.
Okay.
So the tools can change, games can change, strategy can change, but fundamentals will not change.
Okay.
Right? What you do with Android can be done with something else also. So Android can change, but
Hmm.
the fundamentals will not change.
Okay.
So pick out these fundamentals, be thorough with that.
Okay.
Then you go to the tools learning and then you decide which tools to use because you should not be telling you are a tool expert.
Hmm.
Principle are the distinguisher.
Okay.
Start by that. Start learning the design principles, animation principles. Start by that. Eventually, you'll get your idea. You will find your interest also.
Okay.
Where you will fit in, that also you can discover.
And like, how do I apply for like internships or jobs? Like, if I have to apply and I have no background in this, so how do I apply? Like,
Yes, I am not sure because
okay.
I may have to little evaluate you to tell you where you will fit in.
Okay.
So, as the way you're telling, you need a lot of some practice to get into the UX,
Okay.
right? So, but I think you guys are ready for a gaming company as a developer. If you have some knowledge in programming, you can
Hmm.
approach there. But if you want to be a designer, I think you need some practice.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Like, I don't have any
Mm.
experience in this.
Yeah,
I have
see,
no
even
work.
to an internship, they'll ask you some portfolio.
Hmm.
You need to show your thought process. Maybe it is
Hmm.
right or wrong, still okay.
Hmm.
But you have to demonstrate your thought process. Only then they'll show you interest.
Okay. Like it is told like you should redesign some app or website which you are using. You can show that as your work, like for your
Yeah,
portfolio.
something like that. Like you should get into action and demonstrate your thought process, which is where the
Okay,
portfolio is helpful to them. Then they can judge what kind of person you are and
okay. And like, how do I like any like good source for studying this design principles, like specific design principles, typography, and all that?
there's plenty of materials, man. Start with YouTube. Start with
Okay,
principles of everything. You just loop in from one point, you'll get tons of content.
okay. That's I mean like any specific or anything I can follow.
Okay, so you should not miss out typography. Okay,
Okay,
grid principles, illustrations,
okay,
iconography.
okay.
Those are,
Iconography.
yeah,
Okay,
right.
okay. Hmm.
Color theory.
Color theory. Yeah.
These are all must. And if you are getting into motion, then motion principles.
Okay, okay. And like any good book to refer, like for this UI UX, like I've heard of this "Don't Make Me Think" and design everyday things, design of
Yeah,
everyday.
start with that, man. That's the best.
Okay, those things are there.
Mm.
Okay. So as of now, I should like try to complete the course which you have mentioned, like that product design of you would
Yeah,
have taken.
parallelly you learn these principles also. So there's no connection
Okay.
between these principles. You can take it in parallel.
And like I should start with the Photoshop also, Photoshop Figma thing if I can start.
Start with Illustrator, right?
Okay.
And Figma. So
Okay.
start with Illustrator. Figma is like just 5% of Illustrator.
Okay. Okay. Like among all the three, Photoshop, Illustrator, or Figma, Illustrator is the best one to start with.
Yes, yes, yes. Illustrator is a vector based. So
Okay.
for your aspect, if you want to become a web application developer, then Illustrator is a good start.
Okay. Illustrator for this design thing, na? You're saying for the design thing.
Yes. See, raster and vector, like if you take a picture, that is a raster, right?
Okay.
If you create an icon, it is a vector. So
Okay.
raster is it's a size specific. If you reduce the size, increase the size, the resolution will go down. Vector is a calculated image.
Okay.
Like if you're having an icon with this SVG format or EPS format, even if you increase it to tons of size, it will still remain the quality, retain the quality. The
Okay.
resolution will not go down because it is a calculated value. So if you have circle, it will have the size of the circle, fill value, and the diameter of it. So if you just increase it, it just multiply with the same thing,
Okay.
right? So the resolution will be written at any size, either it is smaller or bigger. So it is not dependent on any specific size,
Okay.
right? So Illustrator is a vector-based tool. Photoshop is a raster-based tool.
Okay.
It is for two different purposes. Let's say if you are a photographer and if have a DSLR camera, then you cannot do with vector Illustrator.
Okay. Yeah.
You
Yeah. Yeah.
can do only
Photoshop.
with the Photoshop. But if you want to create something on your own, like you want to illustrate and those things, then you will have to go to the Illustrator. Fundamentally, this is the difference.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, start by learning. Like you will eventually learn too. I know that you have plenty of questions. You start somewhere. I think you eventually will get the answers.
Okay. Okay. Then thank you
Okay.
for.
Yeah. Thanks, man.